What is your American dream?
My American dream is to protect my kids the best way I know how, because they're black. I don't want to go inside because things can happen on the inside too. So I just want them to be respectable young men of the country and live on their dream. So that's my dream for them.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam! Wow, it's such a beautiful day out today. It's been a while since I've been outside visiting my squirrel friends. What is that I hear? What and who is that? The music is beautiful. Who is that man? He's playing the violin right outside our office. What a treat. I'm a little musical myself. Let's go see. Maybe he'll want to jam with me. I gotta run inside. I'm gonna get my tambourine. Let's go get it. Sir, your music is divine. Would you mind if I join you?
Well, yeah, sure.
Oh, awesome. Okay, here we go. Woohoo! Yeah, this is awesome. Woohoo! What's your name? My name is Groundhog Sam.
My name's Pharaoh. Nice to meet you.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Pharaoh. You have made my whole day with your wonderful music. Thank you so much for letting me join you.
Absolutely. That was wonderful.
Are you here in New York all the time?
I actually live in Baltimore. I'm just in New York to record an album.
Oh, how wonderful. What, do you have a name? What's the name of your band, Pharaoh?
Well, I do my own thing as Brian Pharaoh.
Brian Pharaoh?
Uh-huh. And then I have a band called Gangsta Grass that I play in, and we tour around the country.
That's awesome! Hey, maybe we can jam a little more, and then maybe I could come on a tour with you sometime.
I have a talk in Philly. You should come.
Oh, I love Philadelphia, but I'm from there, originally Punxsutawney.
Okay, we should have a good old time then.
So let me just introduce the show, and then we're gonna jam out.
All right.
And now, Brad Squad, is the time you have all been waiting for. It's time for Brad Show Live, starring Brad Bernstein with co-host Vanessa Nesquik Contreras and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Enjoy! Okay, Pharaoh, let's hit it.
It is Wacky Thursday. I am joined in studio with Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Today is Thursday, July 8th, and just in case anybody thinks we're not live, we are.
We are.
Unfortunately, the role of Vanessa Nesquik Contreras will be played in the understudy role by Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias today.
I hope you guys are okay with that.
Vanessa Nesquik Contreras will be back tomorrow.
Yes.
Next time you do play Nesquik, please shave. I don't think she would appreciate you.
Oh, no, I'm definitely not doing that.
I don't
So
think she would
Nesquik,
appreciate you portraying her with a full beard.
She can grow one then. I'm not cutting it.
And by the way, do you watch America's Got Talent?
I do.
Okay, on America's Got Talent, do you know who snuffed out some talent on the street?
Our very own.
Our very own Groundhog Sam.
Yeah.
It turns out that Brian Pharaoh, who Groundhog Sam discovered on the streets of New York City, seriously, just discovered him on the streets of New York City and said, wow, he's a really cool band. He was just playing out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And with his and he tours with Gangsta Grass. But guess what? They are on America's Got Talent, and so far, all 4 judges have given them thumbs up.
Wow, that's huge.
Yes, Groundhog Sam has said that he wants to quit and be a talent scout now. I said, be my guest. Be my guest, Groundhog Sam, if that's what you want to do.
Living out his dreams.
You got to live the dream, whatever it is, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's so good luck to Brian Pharaoh and his band Gangsta Grass, and congratulations to them. And as Groundhog Sam has told me multiple times, he really knows how to sniff out talent. All right, let's say hello to the squad, Yo-Yo. Why don't we, huh?
Let's do it.
Okay, hello to, excuse me, squad up to Chetty Manduri, squad up, Therese Slater, how are you? Good afternoon. Linda Shaw, squad up. Sarah Smith, squad up. Jessica Leamy, Dion Reed. Who else we see here? Benjamin Mizell, we see you watching, squad up. And Carol Anderson, the Tiger. Elizabeth Francis, she is always, at least in comments of the day, Carol.
Yes.
At least, I would say, at least 20 to 25% of the time.
Yes.
All right. Squad, you know what that means?
Y'all need to comment a little bit more.
Exactly. That either means that Carol is the greatest commenter of all time.
Which it could be that.
Which it could be. It could also mean that not enough people are commenting.
Yeah.
One or the other. Let's say hello to Geraldine G, saying hello, squad up. And Lisa Bling Rose, squad up, Uncle Brad, and Yo-Yo. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Westman, squad up. Miloslav Minkoff, how are you? Squad up, thanks for joining. Jeremy Goldberg, J Rhymes.
J Rhymes.
He's got some poetry going.
He's got two.
He's got two. What is he? He thinks he's getting paid extra for a second poem?
Listen, you never know.
He doesn't get paid per poem, does he?
He's shooting his shot.
Maybe he thinks he should be getting paid per poem. All right, let's see. The first one is J Rhymes went to CCC after serving Brad some TTT. But one thing I agree, that Brad's the greatest to be. You know, with a poem like that, he should get paid by the poem. With a poem like that, I think he should get paid by the poem. Let's see what the second one is. Jonathan, I'll take this to my grave. Please, don't shave.
I agree.
All right. J Rhymes, from now on, he's getting paid by
the poem.
By the rhyme. By the rhyme.
By the rhyme.
Yes. So when he goes to verify his employment, he goes, well, I get X amount of dollars per rhyme.
Per rhyme. There you go.
All right, let's see. Yo-Yo, you take it away.
Absolutely. All right, squad, you already know what time it is. It is time to start sharing with everybody on all social media platforms because we're going to start schmoozing with Brad. We're going to be talking headlines, including President Biden's address today regarding U.S. troops pulling out of Afghanistan and his plan for expedited visas for Afghan people who are most at risk. And it is Thursday, so you already know what that means. It is Wacky World Thursdays, and we're super excited, squad, because we're going to be talking about an Austrian man who was rudely interrupted by an uninvited guest while he was taking care of some bathroom business.
That's pretty rude.
Yeah.
To be interrupted in the bathroom. And of course, you can always call Spar and Bernstein. The telephone number is scrolling at the bottom. I don't know. I have something caught in my throat today. Is scrolling at the bottom. You can also call 1-800-529-5465. That's the number to call to get on our show. We have open lines, so if you call, we will be answering your immigration questions in about 20-25 minutes from now. We schmooze like we always do. Then we go to our immigration calls like we always do. Then we always go to social media check-in. We see what the squad is saying. That means comment, make your comments, and then later in the show, I will speak to Yemeni American comedian Ali Sultan about his immigration story to the United States and his career in stand-up.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of being a stand-up comedian, Jonathan?
Absolutely not.
No? You're a funny guy.
I would be pissed if people did not laugh at my jokes.
But you're funny.
I would take it personal. Don't want to risk it.
Your ego is that fragile.
Yes.
When it comes to comedy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you know, I thought of being a comedian.
Did you really?
Before I went to law school.
Really?
Yeah, did I ever tell you? So true story.
Okay.
Tell the squad. I took a class at University of Michigan, my last semester in acting class, and the acting teacher said, you know, you're a good actor. You should go out to LA try to be an actor. And called my.
I could have seen you as an actor
I
for
called,
sure.
I called my mom up. I said, Mom, I'm not going to go to law school.
Oh, please.
I'm going to go out to LA and be an actor. Ah! You don't know the
Right.
screaming on the other side of the phone. So then I went to law school, and then I thought I would be a stand-up comedian, but then I said, okay, I'll do stand-up comedy while I go to law school.
Right.
Because
And
I
that's
had some funny jokes
Yeah.
back in the day. Not like now, I'm pretty stiff. But back in the day,
You were pretty funny.
I was pretty funny.
Okay.
But law school was just too hard. It was just too much work to
much
do
work,
that
yeah.
and then do stand-up at night. So I just gave up
On the dream.
on the dream, and I'm a lawyer.
Well,
Here
hey.
I am helping people.
Maybe you can do some one of these days.
Nah, I'm not that funny anymore. I used to be much funnier when I was younger.
I think it's, you dig it up.
Sometimes.
Might be deep down in there.
Sometimes deep down. All right, let's get to some schmoozing.
Let's do
I was
it.
reminiscing about my life.
Right.
I said, damn, that was Sultan. He became a good comedian. Why did I do that? All right, so Haiti in turmoil
Yes.
still, unfortunately. Talking about, we're joking, and now this is some serious stuff. Police are hunting for suspects. The reality is, nobody knows who did what and who hired who to do what.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. Nobody's in charge in Haiti right now. It's an absolute disaster. Officials, who I don't know who these officials are, they claim 4 suspects connected to the killing of President Jovenel Moïse were killed by police overnight. 2 more were detained. Who knows if these were the guys? These
Right.
weren't the guys. 4 people died. We don't know if they were the shooters. They were not. Nobody knows who did it. Well, we know why they did it.
Right.
Because somebody was trying to wrest power from Moïse. But who it is, we have no
don't know.
idea. Haiti's ambassador to the United States, Boshi Edmond, if I'm pronouncing his name right, I'm terrible at French, so I apologize, described the suspects as foreign mercenaries. Now, this takes place against a backdrop of extreme violence in the capital, Port-au-Prince, which has claimed the lives of many citizens in recent weeks. The assassination also leaves a huge power vacuum in Haiti. The reality is there is nobody in charge there right now.
Yeah. And, it's really amazing that, they extended TPS.
Thank
but
God they did.
Thank God they did.
Yeah.
But when are they going to be able to file? That's
the big
issue.
question.
Right.
I mean, now that this is going on, the pressure is really on the Biden administration to come out with the regulations so that people who are from Haiti would be eligible for TPS.
Right.
What's also going to happen, which is sad, is that you could only be eligible for TPS if you were here on May 22nd or 23rd, whatever that date was, that Biden passed the extension. And by the way, now that with this going on in Haiti, TPS is going to be extended for a very long time.
Right.
So right now it's 18 months. But there's going to be a lot of people who are going to look to try to escape Haiti any way they can.
Right.
There's violence. There is
A lot.
rape. There is, it's just really, really bad. And the hard part for an immigration lawyer when you find people who are escaping this type of violence, and from what I hear, just through the grapevine of speaking to people, there's a lot of sexual assaults, there's a lot of assaults, there's killings, there's beatings in the street. I saw a video of Haitians beating up 2 people because they were speaking Spanish.
Jeez.
Just because they said, it was Spanish mercenaries. There's a lot of gang violence going on there right now. And it's just, unfortunately, an extraordinarily violent situation, what's going on there now, and no power vacuum. People are going to look to leave that country.
Yeah.
And the thing that is very difficult for, because they're all going to come, they're not going to be eligible for TPS, they're all going to apply for asylum. That's what's going to happen. So the United States has to be prepared
For that.
for that eventuality. People are going to get any way they can to get out of Haiti to get to the United States to apply for asylum. Right now, the airports are closed, but that doesn't mean there's boats. There's rickety boats. People are going to risk their lives
Yeah.
on these boats
Right.
to get out of Haiti. It's going to happen,
Yeah.
especially now with what's going on. The hardest part for an immigration attorney when you're representing somebody who's fleeing violence is to show that the violence that they're fleeing is not random violence, but violence directed at them particularly because they are a member of a social group that's being targeted. The hardest part of these asylum cases, I could already see moving forward, is yes, you live in a violent society. Bullets are flying over your head left and right. People are getting beat up. Women, sadly, are getting raped and sexually assaulted. What is the group that you belong to that is being particularly targeted for some political reason that somebody is going after you? Because it is political asylum, not asylum. That is the term, really. So the bottom line is that in order to be granted asylum and not be deported and returned to a very extraordinarily dangerous country, you have to be able to prove that you are a member of a social group that is you're being targeted because you support this politician over this politician, or you are a member of this group versus that group. And that's the hardest thing to prove, because most people, I would suspect, are just trying to get the hell out.
Get out
by
any means.
Get out by any means they can. So, it's going to be hard for immigration lawyers, obviously hard for people who are there.
Right.
Hard for people who try to escape. You're going to risk your life staying. You're going to risk your life escaping.
Yeah.
There's no right answer.
Yeah.
And there's no right answer for what Biden's to do. I mean, put yourself in the president's position.
I mean, I just know that it's going to be better than what Trump did, because can you imagine all the people he tried to send back, if, they're there while all of this has been happening, Can
you imagine? Right. Donald Trump, think about it. You're 100% right, Jonathan. Donald Trump 2 years ago said, I'm going to end TPS for Haitians. It's perfectly safe to go back. Luckily, the court struck that down, said it was illegal. Luckily, Trump lost, and Biden is president, because had the court said what Trump did was legal, had he done it in a smart way, hundreds of thousands of Haitians who are living here legally for 10, 20, 25 years with homes, businesses, jobs would have all been deported back to this chaos.
And it was not safe back then.
And it wasn't even safe back then. Right.
Let's be honest.
So, it's really bad what's going on there. And, you put yourself in Joe Biden's shoes. You're like, what do you do?
Yeah.
You give money. Well, the money doesn't get to the people.
It's not getting to the people.
They're getting completely robbed by the politicians. That's why politicians are getting killed. Somebody else wants to be in charge so they could reap all the benefits of
their own people.
Right. I mean, if I become the president of Haiti, you know what? A lot of foreign aid's going to come in. Yeah. It's not going to go to the people. It's going to go in my pocket.
Crazy.
Not me personally, but whoever.
And not saying that happened here. We don't know.
Oh, it absolutely happened.
With the president, we don't know if that was what the president was doing or not. Though.
Oh, I don't know about him personally. All I do know is that the foreign aid never gets to the people.
Yes.
Never in Haiti.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars. Look at what Port-au-Prince looks like.
That's wild. Billions of dollars.
Billions and billions of dollars. Meanwhile, President Biden defended his decision to pull out the U.S. military out of Afghanistan, saying the Afghan people must decide their own future rather than sacrificing another generation of Americans in an unwinnable war. Another country that is a failed country politically, that really needed somebody to go in there and help them build a nation. The United States was in there for 20 years.
Like, what were we doing for a whole 20 years?
Exactly. What were we doing there for 20 years?
That's a long time.
And how many billions of dollars? 50 billion, 80 billion dollars. How many lost lives?
Right.
Okay. And Joe Biden said, we're not there to nation. If we weren't there to nation build, then what the heck were we doing there for the last 20 years? And we didn't do a very good job doing it.
Failed.
Completely failed. And Joe Biden, he was vice president during Obama for 8 years. They were trying to build Afghanistan.
Right.
But they didn't do a very good job at it. Speaking in the White House East Room, Biden said the Afghan military has the ability to repel the Taliban. They don't. My guess is, not being a military strategist, not knowing the powers to be in Afghanistan, knowing only what I read in the news, so the Taliban will end up taking over again.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Biden said, we achieved objectives. We went in. We got rid of Al-Qaeda. That was back in 2001.
I was about to say, that was
That was
early when we started.
Yeah, we got rid of Al-Qaeda.
Right.
Osama bin Laden was living in Pakistan. He ran out of Afghanistan
Right.
within weeks. Meanwhile, Biden, this is nice though, at least we talked about this. Biden's administration is planning for expedited visas for Afghan people most at risk of being attacked by the Taliban. Biden said the United States plans to move thousands of Afghan interpreters out of the country in anticipation of the end of the United States military mission. They will be moved to third countries where they can apply for U.S. visas to enter the United States. Locations are still being worked out. So at least the United States is going to help the translators who are most at risk of being assaulted or killed by the Taliban. Obviously, the United States already knows the Taliban's going to take over.
Right.
Because if the Taliban wasn't going to take over, they wouldn't need to evacuate all the translators. Think about it, right? Who helped them.
Right.
So we're back to, after thousands and thousands of lost lives, maybe tens of thousands, who knows? 50 billion, 80 billion, 100 billion dollars. Imagine where that money could have been spent. Okay? We are back to where we were the day before 9/11, the Taliban taking over, and who knows
All that for nothing.
And all that for nothing. And who knows what will ultimately, will the Taliban, start, bringing back terrorist elements?
Right.
I don't know.
That's scary.
We don't know what
So
they're going to
many-
do, but it's
yeah,
going to
different
go back to what it
possibilities.
was pre-9/11, because the Taliban is going to take over. Same group, different different
Yeah.
names.
Sheesh.
Meanwhile, rights groups are asking the State Department and White House to add up to 2,000 more visas for vulnerable women and women's advocates. Women police officers, women media workers, women judges, women medical workers. They've all been assassinated, and especially now with the Taliban, who does not recognize women's rights, they're going to be in trouble as well. So for President Biden to sit there in the White House and say the Afghan government's got this, they don't got this.
Oh, no.
They wouldn't be evacuating all these people if the Afghan government got this. We've just been propping up some really bad governments with our money, and as soon as we leave,
They take over.
it's a takeover.
Man.
Meanwhile, the Surfside, Florida condo collapse search and rescue efforts has now transitioned officially into recovery operation. Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levina Cava said in a news briefing yesterday evening, to share this news with the families this evening who are still missing their loved ones was devastating. It's also difficult to share with all of you. The decision to transition to a recovery operation was based on the facts that emerged throughout the search and rescue mission. The facts were they weren't hearing anybody. They were the canine dogs were not smelling anybody.
Right.
There was no life under that rubble. I can't imagine anybody would have survived anyway for very long.
And we said that.
Yeah, I mean, to fall 2, 3, 4, 5 stories, whatever you are, whatever floor you are on, and then have cement hit you on top of you. How are you surviving there?
Yeah.
So.
And then not to mention the demolition.
Of course.
Like after that, we kind of just knew.
Yeah, I mean, if you're demolishing a building, I don't think they were expecting to find any live bodies after the fact. I think once they decided to demolish the building, they realized there was nobody there. Nobody there alive. Exactly.
So sad.
Yeah. The search has continued Wednesday despite Elsa, and the condo collapses raised questions about whether other residential structures could be at risk in Miami. Florida's legal community has created the Condominium Law and Policy on Life Safety Task Force to review laws governing the state's condominium. This is the issue. Okay? An engineer came to the Surfside condo.
Yes.
Okay? If the initial assessment, which was that the condominium was missing some support beams within the cement, that the architectural drawings had, I don't know, making this up, 10 support beams, but there was only 5. There was only 7. That seems to be the initial assessment of engineers, that the building was not built to the specifications of what the engineers required it to be built.
Right.
It was built with less steel, less support. Why? Because obviously the
Cheaper, probably.
cheaper.
Yeah.
Right. So a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I said, what the heck is this engineer coming and saying to people, don't get out of the building? You know, they're looking at, they're saying, oh yeah, well, you know, there's some cement coming down. But the reality is this. I mean, unless the engineer has X-ray vision,
Right.
how the heck is the engineer supposed to know what's behind the cement walls? How many beams are there? The engineer is looking at the architectural drawings and is assuming, for argument's sake, there's 10 support beams there, when maybe there was only 5. Had the engineer known there was only 5 and not 10, maybe the engineer would have said, hey, get out of the building, this is not safe. But you can't expect the engineer to have X-ray
absolutely not.
vision.
Were they trying to blame the engineer?
No, I was trying to blame the engineer a week ago. But I'm taking it back now.
Oh, yeah.
So now, when they say Florida's legal community has created the condominium law and policy, I mean, if in fact it was not built to specification, you blame the person who built the building, who's now dead.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Oh, were they in there too?
No, they died years ago.
Oh, okay.
But the Florida legal community has created the Condominium Law and Policy on Life Safety Task Force. How the hell are they going to go into buildings unless you're going to rip out the cement of every building and take a look to see if it was built to specification?
Right.
Because now I don't trust any building in Florida that was
Right.
built in that time frame.
Exactly.
Because if this building wasn't built to specification, there's only one, if that's in fact what happened. If this building was not built to specification, and that seems to be the going theory at the moment, and it was not built to specification, that means somebody from the town engineer, came and okayed the structural support before all the cement came in.
Yeah.
So obviously somebody got paid off.
Yes.
Okay, because nobody would okay something that wasn't built to specifications. So if you were paid off on this building,
Who's to say that?
you would say you were paid off on a lot of buildings.
That's why I feel like every building in Miami should, like, they need to get an inspection. Like
There has to be an inspection where you have to go into the cement, and I don't know how you do it.
I'm sure the engineers will find
I'm
something,
sure,
some type of way to
yeah,
find
I'm sure
out.
there's a way to figure it out, because you
But
just can't.
every building in Miami needs that now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to like open up the walls.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I had an old house, and I was building, years ago when I was married. I'm divorced now, but when I bought an old house, I remember the contractor came over. He's actually a guy from the West Indies, and I wanted to build another section above my house. He's like, I don't know if this house can take it or not. And they literally had to open up all the walls to inspect all the different beams to see what was in there. You can't tell by just looking at a wall. So I think the engineer came. They look at walls. They say, okay, there's some cement coming down, but nobody looked to see if this was built to specification.
Yeah. Do you think there would be any type of way, like, whether it's the government or the mayor, who would have to be the one to say every single?
They would have to either pass a regulation or a law, I guess.
I think that needs to be.
Meanwhile, top local prosecutor in Miami, Dade County State Attorney Catherine Fernandez Rundle, also said Wednesday she has formally tasked the grand jury with investigating the cause of the collapse. All the debris removed from the site is considered evidentiary debris. The remnants are being sorted on site, and any objects that can be distinguished are put in certain bins. So there's going to be some criminal charges, but they're going to be brought against people who are dead.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And here, Donald Trump, trying to still stay in the news, has decided to sue our friends at Facebook and Twitter and Google. Trump announced from Bedminster, New Jersey, because he would never announce anything from Trump Tower in New York City. There would be too many protesters there against him.
Right.
at his golf club that he would serve as the lead plaintiff in a class action lawsuit arguing that he has been censored wrongfully by tech companies. Speaking about freedom of speech and the First Amendment, which applies to the government, Trump called his lawsuit, which was filed yesterday in the United States District Court of the Southern District of Florida, a very beautiful development. Here's a guy who has had more failed lawsuits than probably any person living in the United States of America. Do you know he tried to sue the NFL years ago as when he started the USFL league and said the NFL was a monopoly. He tried to force his way into the NFL with an NFL team, the New Jersey Generals. Mm-hmm. He lost that lawsuit, but it was like he spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that lawsuit. But on this particular lawsuit, I'll give you my 2 cents. Mm-hmm. Okay? The Constitution of the United States, Jonathan, does not guarantee freedom of speech to every human being. Mm-hmm. What the Constitution of the United States guarantees is that the United States government will not restrict somebody's freedom of speech. That doesn't mean a private company can't restrict freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. That means you can't go. I can't go into Jonathan's apartment and say something that you don't like, and you say you're not allowed to say this here, and assuming you would be able to muzzle me. Mm-hmm. I can't sue you for blocking my freedom of speech. It's in your apartment. As long as the U.S. government doesn't block your freedom of speech. These are private companies. Facebook is not the United States government.
Nope.
Twitter's not the United States government, and Google. They can restrict anything they want.
Yep.
Now, the argument that Donald Trump is going to make is, well, the United States has made regulations that allow Facebook and YouTube and Google to be shielded from liability if somebody says something that is false. So in other words, for example, Jonathan goes on to Google, says, Brad Bernstein is the world's worst lawyer in the world. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's terrible. You would never say that.
Ever.
Okay. I can sue Jonathan for slander. But I can't sue Google, Facebook, or Twitter because they're shielded by United States government law. So what Donald Trump is saying, since the U.S. government has shielded them, they're obviously they are now part of what the Constitution is considered the United States government, not barring any freedom of speech. Now, assuming that argument even works, which I don't think it would, there is still not unfettered. You know what the word unfettered means?
What's that?
Unfettered means unlimited freedom of speech. So, for example, you can't go and freedom of speech. For example, there's obscenity laws. All right, you can't put up a video of having sex with a minor. Somebody can't say, well, that's freedom of speech. Well, that goes too far.
Yes.
All right, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, okay? Because you're going to cause a stampede and cause danger to people.
Which is kind of what
Correct.
Trump did. Correct.
He yelled fire in the Capitol. Right. So even if you say because the U.S. government has passed a law shielding Google, that freedom of speech extends to them, that they can't bar freedom of speech, they have rules and regulations that they treat everybody the same.
Right.
Okay? And you can't advocate to overthrow the U.S. government. You can't advocate hate speech. You can't advocate to yell fire at a crowded theater.
Which is everything Trump did.
Correct. So this lawsuit is
like every single one of
like
his other
everything else. I don't have my BS button anymore, but I was going to hit BS.
Literally like every single one of his other lawsuits.
BS. All right, we got to get to our wacky news because this is going way too long. Let's get to wacky news. All right, so a man in Austria, Jonathan, he was bitten on the genitals by a python while he was on the toilet. after it's believed the reptile escaped his neighbor's home and slithered through the drains to get him on the ass. On the ass.
So it came through the toilet.
Through the toilet, the neighbor's snake. The 65-year-old man was nipped by a 5-foot-plus albino reticulated python at 6 a.m. while he went to have his morning sit-down with his newspaper on the toilet.
I couldn't even imagine that happening.
Shortly after he sat on the toilet, he started reading the day's news. By his own account, he felt a pinch in the area surrounding his, let's say, ass.
Yeah.
The snake, a non-venomous constrictor native to Asia, can reportedly grow up to 29 feet long.
Ooh.
The unnamed victim was taken to a hospital for treatment. A reptile expert also responded to the man's home and removed the snake before cleaning it and returning the pet to its 24-year-old owner. I would have never thought that a snake would be able to slither through the pipes.
I've heard of stuff like that where snakes can slither through the pipes.
Had I been bit on the ass by a snake, my first thought would have been, what the heck did I eat last night? Yeah, what the heck did I eat last night?
Oh
but that's what happened in Australia. Moving to
I would want to sue.
Austria. Oh, it's not Australia. It was Austria.
Austria. I would want to sue the owners of the snake.
Yeah.
Would they have?
Perhaps.
I mean, because just like when a dog bites you, you know, like
wouldn't that
be negligence?
Let me tell you. I don't know what the rules are in Austria. I don't know what they are in Austria, but in America, in New York, first bite's free.
Really?
Yes. In other words,
first bite from my dog.
From your dog is a free bite, because you're not on notice that your dog is a biter. You can't control your animal, so unless you're on notice that your dog is a biter, first bite's free. So if you get a dog and you let your dog loose and it's running around and all of a sudden it bites me on the ass, I can't do anything. What did you know? You didn't know your dog was going to bite me.
So
but
then
now,
if my dog bites
somebody else the second time, then they can sue you. Like, you knew that dog.
But you can't sue. You can't come back.
I can't. No. So the second person would be able to sue and say, you already knew because the dog bit Brad. You should have.
That's foul.
That's the law. I'm not saying it's right.
You.
It is foul to me. I'm not saying you're right or wrong.
You can't even sit down now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, by the way, the man had 11 snakes in his apartment and a gecko.
Come on, man.
Yeah, which was kept in terrariums and drawers inside his residence. And now the authorities are investigating the snake's owner on suspicion of negligently causing bodily harm. But I'm just telling you what the laws were in America. Meanwhile, a gigantic 3D cat has appeared on a billboard in Tokyo. Shown between advertisements, the hyper-realistic feline comes to life on a 1,600 square foot curved LED screen.
Oh, that looks crazy.
Look at that. Can you imagine?
That's awesome.
I would want to just walk by there and just keep watching it.
Right, that looks awesome.
That's just a video screen. In the evening...
That looks crazy.
Yeah, between 7 a.m. and 1 a.m., the video changes throughout the day. The cat is first startled to wake in the morning, and by the afternoon it can be seen standing up and meowing to passers-by.
Wow.
But by evening it lies down and goes back to sleep.
Tokyo is just awesome.
I'd like to go. Yeah, but they're under lockdown again for the Olympics. Yeah, sadly. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, Russian tech giant Yandex. You know what Yandex is? It's the Google of Russia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Yandex is the. It's not Google. It's a different company.
Yeah, but it's their version.
It's their version of Google. Announced it also now has driverless robots that will soon deliver food to students on college campuses in the United States, after they agreed to a multi-year partnership with online food ordering company Grubhub.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to have Vladimir Putin delivering us our food now. Sometimes described as Russia's Google, Yandex offers a variety of services from advertising and search to ride-hailing and food delivery. Dmitry Polishchuk, the CEO of Yandex Self-Driving Group, said, We are delighted to deploy dozens of our rovers, taking next step in actively commercializing our self-driving technology in different markets across the globe.
But do we really like that type of stuff? Like, would we want that here? Because this is taking a lot of jobs from people.
Yeah, I don't. Not only that, but how do I know that this thing's not going to run me over?
I mean, it's a little thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I'm more concerned with people's jobs because I see so many people here in New York that take that, you know, and that's the only way they can make money.
Yeah, well, if you are an uneducated person, you know, or you are a new immigrant, or you are a college student, you know, doing this type of work is how you're going to make a living.
Right.
It's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. On the flip side,
they're
people
working,
right. On the flip side, people who have master's degrees in engineering, they're going to have more jobs available to them because Yandex presumably needs people with masters in engineering and computers to make these robots and fix them and design them. So it goes back to you really got to get an education.
Yeah.
You know,
so
the way they
for everybody.
I know, but the way the government looks at it is, well, you lost a job, but you gain a job. But yes, somebody's losing a job, and then the person who's getting screwed, and this person who's getting screwed is the low wage workers,
and the ones that need it the most.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, a dentist with a very painful wisdom tooth, who didn't want to wait to get an appointment with someone else, took matters into his own hands.
What the hell?
Yes, the dentist Burhan Khan Bafra, who lives and works in northern Turkish province of Samsun, filmed himself as he looked in a mirror in order to make the injection in the right place before yanking out his molar. A patient of mine, he says, failed to turn up for midday appointment and I had some free time. I was already in extreme pain myself because of the wisdom tooth, so I decided to give myself anesthetic, which was to relieve some pain. Initially, he gave himself the injection because he just wanted to relieve the pain. But since I had some free time after my pain passed, I decided to pull it out as well. The doctor said that the procedure, which took about 7 minutes, went surprisingly very smooth. He did surgery on himself. He's like the Rambo of Turkey. Ever see that movie Rambo? When,
yes.
You know, Rambo, he doesn't have time to bleed. He just stitched himself up. Now, the Turkish dentist said that he was inspired by another surgeon. The moment came on social media when a Russian doctor pulled out his own wisdom teeth. I said I could do that too. So I decided to pull out my tooth that way as well. But I would not want him to go back and start operating on other people later today. He's got to be really uncomfortable.
Right.
And he has anesthesia. He's like, I'm waiting for my next patient.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be that next patient.
No, I wouldn't either. But I mean, it's just the numbing. It's not going to actually like make you feel slow or anything. It's not the inhaling type of, you know.
Yeah, but still, you're still under some sort of anesthetic, and you have to do surgery on the next person.
Yeah.
All right.
He's good.
All right. No dentist in Turkey for me. Thank you. And lastly, Jonathan, authorities announced on June 29th that a priceless painting by Pablo Picasso. You ever hear that guy?
Yes, sir.
It was recovered while a suspected thief was arrested 9 years after its stolen disappearance.
Wow.
Picasso gifted his woman's head, painted in 1939, to the Greek people for their resistance against the Nazi occupation. The painting, along with the Dutch master Piet Mondrian's Stammer Mill at Summerhouse, was stolen from the National Gallery in Athens in January 2012. Questioning the main suspect, a 49-year-old construction worker, led Greek police to discover the stolen paintings wrapped in plastic sheets and hidden in a dry riverbed in the outskirts of Athens. Can you imagine? They hid it in the woods.
Damn, I was in Athens.
They hid this in the woods, but you never stumbled upon the Picasso.
Sheesh.
In the woods.
I should have went to the woods.
Yeah. The AP reported that the art pieces were purportedly relocated to the riverbed not long before the finding. The thief allegedly decided to choose a more secure hiding place upon hearing the news the police were about to make an arrest. The painting is of special importance and emotional value, as the great painter personally dedicated it to the Greek people.
Wow.
So it has been recovered.
I wonder how much that's going to go for.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. But I do know this, Jonathan.
Go ahead.
In today's Braducation, I talk about ESTA visa loopholes. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward, to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your Immigration for Education. I'm not here to tell you what you want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. U.S. immigration law is complex and the regulations are constantly changing. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. Now, there are 39 countries enrolled in the United States Visa Waiver Program that allows citizens of those countries to travel to the United States for tourism and stay for 90 days without a visa with an ESTA, which is the digital travel authorization to the USA you obtain online. Entering the United States on an ESTA, whether you say something or not at the airport, it is implied you are a tourist. It is not a fiancé visa or a marriage visa. So if you were to marry a United States citizen or permanent resident while on the ESTA, the government would call you a liar. You said you were visiting, and then you are marrying a United States citizen or resident, which is not allowed on the ESTA. It is a blatant misrepresentation. Now let's talk loopholes. What is interesting about the ESTA is that if you come to America and you wait more than 90 days, and then you get married to a United States citizen, well, then the law says, okay, you changed your mind. You were coming to visit, and then you changed your mind. And that's okay, because it's okay to come with the intent to visit and then change your mind. But it is not okay to come to America on an ESTA with a preconceived intent at the airport or at a border crossing to get married to get your green card. But the ESTA is only for 90 days. So you're saying I would have to become undocumented to stay in America in order to obtain my green card through marriage and adjustment of status? Yes, that is what I'm saying. Because you want to avoid making a misrepresentation by getting married in the first 90 days. Because if you marry a United States citizen, then you are still allowed to adjust your status in the United States to get a green card through your marriage, even if you overstay your visa. And that goes for any visa, including the ESTA. So as crazy as that sounds, this is the law. If you're coming to America to marry a United States citizen, to get your green card on an ESTA, you need to overstay. Then get married, and then adjust your status. If you do this, you're on your way to getting a green card, provided you're in a bona fide loving marriage. Otherwise, you are getting denied for misrepresentation. There is a waiver for misrepresentation, but they're really hard to get approved. And if you are denied, and since you already signed your rights away on an ESTA, you have no right to contest your deportation, and the local immigration officer can put you on a plane and send you home without you ever seeing a judge. But if you're going to overstay, make sure you get married because your ESTA is no longer valid. So the only way to gain immigration status is get married to get your green card. Are there other loopholes? Well, yeah. The same thing applies for children of United States citizens who are under the age of 21 and parents of U.S. citizens who are filing for them who are over the age of 21. And by the way, you can always follow us on OnlyFans, where I'm fully clothed and you can see all of our Braducations. Just follow us at Brad Show Live on OnlyFans. In addition, I see a comment by one of our squatties, wants to know where the Jamaican flag is. When Jamaica gets put in the ESTA program, we will edit the video and put the Jamaican flag on it. We put the flags of the countries that were in the ESTA program, not the countries that are our favorite countries. Although we don't play favorites, we still love Jamaica.
We do. All
right, let's do... You got a question, I got an answer. All right, let's go to Kathy in Hartford, Connecticut. Kathy.
Hey, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I have a question. It's called how do I explain? It's a voyage prima facie.
Vow prima facie.
Yes. So basically what happened, I have an attorney that filed it for me back in 2017. It was granted in 2017. After that, they requested more evidence, so it was submitted. Then they started to send me a particular letter. It's the I-360.
You got approved. The I-360 got approved.
Right.
Okay.
But it's still saying it's basically they're not approving my work permit. Haven't been approved since 2017 or anything.
Do you have a letter in your possession that says I-360 approval notice?
It says the request for extension prima facie case under the
No, that's prima facie extension. That's what you're reading. So your I-360 has never been approved. Then.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now,
so what is my next? Go ahead.
Have you ever filed an adjustment application?
It's the attorney. What he did.
I-45. Did you ever pay a filing fee of $1,225?
I'm sorry. If I did what?
Did you ever file an I-45 application?
Yes.
Okay.
I paid that to the attorney.
Okay. So then you should have gotten a work permit from that. Did you get a work permit from that?
No, I haven't gotten a work permit. It came back denied.
Then your attorney never filed an I-45. Do you have a receipt notice for an I-45?
No, I don't have no receipt notice for it.
All you have so far is a VAWA case filed in 2017, which is a shame. Your attorney should have filed an adjustment with it so you can get a work permit and travel permission so you can get benefits. In addition, your VAWA case, which has been pending since 2017, needs a final decision. So I think now it's 2017, you started, we're almost halfway through 2021, you're 4 years into this or something close to it. I think it's time to get a second set of eyes on your case. Sounds your next step is file an adjustment, and then let's get a lawyer to look at this VAWA case, maybe like me, and see if it's approvable, and if so, then maybe even doing what's called a pre-litigation mandamus.
You said a pre-what?
A mandamus. I'm giving you too many things to think about. You
got
need
you.
to file an adjustment and get a work permit, and your VAWA should have been approved already. I don't know why you need a second set of eyes to look at it. Hold on one second. Okay, you need a lawyer. Hold on. Let's go to Joseph in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Joseph.
Hello, Bert.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I recently went for marriage-based interview. Everything went on fine. Mm-hmm. The interviewer said everything is fine, but he never gave me any letter. He said that he's going to check into my background.
Okay.
Now, my background, if I'm to explain to you, I was here about 20 years ago. And I only stayed here for like about 2 years. I had an F1 student. I didn't finish. But then at some point, I was working without a permit. I only had the F1, but I had a Social Security. So I was working, and I had I'd done a photocopy of my Social Security. So I went for a court hearing, and I'd asked for a voluntary departure.
All right, so you took a voluntary departure 20 years ago. How did you come back to the United States?
I went to the embassy and requested for a visa as a B1B2.
When you got the B1B2 visa, did you mark down on that visa that you previously had to take a voluntary departure? Or was that neglected on your application?
Yes, because they interviewed me twice at the embassy.
Okay,
and,
so there was everything was above board at the embassy.
Yes, they asked me what happened before, and they told me,
all right. So then the officer's looking into your background, and he's going to find that you did nothing wrong.
So I just wanted to know if my concern is is there any statute of limitation when it comes to immigration? If something happened to you like 20 years ago, can that affect you right now?
Well, it doesn't sound like you did anything wrong. You took a voluntary departure. You left within that time frame. You went home. You stayed home for 20 years. You went back and got a visitor's visa. They interviewed you twice. You told them everything that happened. You never lied. You never misrepresented. You were above board. You were completely transparent. And they gave you a visa and came back. And then subsequently to that, you got married in a bona fide marriage to a U.S. citizen. So let them investigate till the cows come home. You're entitled to a green card based on what you told me.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know that. So how long will it take them to...
I don't know how long it will take. Anybody who asks me, when will I get a green card, I don't have the slightest idea. All I can tell you is that from the time of the interview, they should be, under the law, they're supposed to give you a decision in 120 days. They never do. You got to wait it out. If more than a year, that's when I start suggesting mandamus or threatening of a mandamus, which is a pre-litigation mandamus. So wait out and see what happens.
Okay, so if I've not any what do you call it?
If you don't hear, unless it sounds like you feel you're guilty of something that you're not sharing with me. So if you have some underlying guilt of something that you're not sharing with me, then my advice is down the tubes because I don't know all the facts. But based on what you told me, based on what you told me, you've done nothing wrong. So let them investigate. What'd you do wrong?
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Thank
and if you don't hear in a year, call me. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye. All right. Let's go to Akash in Newark, Delaware.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So actually, I filed I-130, and it hasn't been approved yet. And I filed it in December 2020. And I was thinking that can I just file a K3 visa? Is there any benefit?
Sure. A benefit to a K3 visa is that your spouse who's living in another country gets to come here and live with you while they're waiting for their green card. Usually what happens on a K3 visa is when the K3 visa gets filed, they speed up the processing of the I-130. And then once the I-130 is approved, they say, oh, you don't need the K3 anymore. So the answer is yes, file the K3.
File the K3?
Yes.
And if the spouses come to the United States, and so do I have to notify them the spouse is here? So
they know.
They know it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is no interview process or anything. The spouse doesn't have to go back to the overseas and change the status.
No, the spouse would have a choice of either adjusting here or going back for their final visa appointment.
Okay, so I should file the K3 then.
File the K3, but what's probably going to happen is they'll make the I-130 speed up, and then the K3 will be moved.
Okay.
All right? Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Let's go to Kazim in Newark, New Jersey this time. Kazim.
Hello, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
I'm sorry?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What can I do to help you?
Yes. I have a question, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to know if the government, you see any green light about the amnesty?
No, not yet. No green light on amnesty. A lot of talk about amnesty. Talk's cheap. When I see a green light, I'll be the first to let you know, I promise you.
All right.
All right, hang in there.
All right, sir. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Jose in Rochester, New York. Jose.
Hey, bro, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, man. We'll be there. Listen, bro, I have a question, man.
Go ahead.
On September 2020, my wife submitted my application, I-130, 14085, and the work permit, too. So then, November 2020, USCIS sent a RFP. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then, on November, USCIS sent us our RFE.
RFE, request for more evidence. Yes, I understand what that is.
Yeah, but then my wife just withdraw the application.
Oh, well, that's not very good. So now you're back to square
and
one. What's going on with you and your wife? What happened with your wife? You got into a fight?
No, we didn't fight. She was jealous and whatever.
Oh,
But listen,
she's
bro.
jealous.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, but fine.
Why is she
But finally-
jealous? Are you talking to other women?
No, I was talking to my family, but she was like crazy. You know what I mean?
she's-
She went crazy about
So what?
jealous or whatever.
So what's
But-
where are you at with your wife now?
No. Forget about her. Listen,
Forget about the
on
wife.
February-
Okay. So why are you
on
telling me
February-
this story then? All right, tell me what your question
No.
is then.
Yeah, that's why I want to tell you my question right
Okay.
now.
All right.
Yo, listen. On February 2021, USCIS sent me a notice of decision with denied. They denied the case, okay?
Because your wife
So
withdrew it.
Okay, but then I submit a VAWA case. Just the form I-360, just this
Okay.
form, okay? And now on April, they send me prima facie.
Great.
Okay, and June 4, I see something in my case say correspondence was received and USCIS is reviewing it. What does that mean, man?
It means they're reviewing your application.
Okay, but my question finally is: can I submit the I-485 and the work permit now?
Yes.
That's great, man.
That's great. Yes, you should have done it. You should have done it originally, but do it now. File the I-45, and you file for your work permit. And your VAWA is going to take another year and a half. They're not going to make a decision. The woman who called me, if you were listening to the beginning of the show, the woman who called me sounded like the lawyer filed the VAWA but never filed the adjustment. She's been waiting 4 years, the poor lady. So
That's great.
You file your adjustment now. Absolutely.
Okay, but what does it mean? That's no problem for me. Correspondence was received. Blah, blah, blah.
No. Sounds everything's going good. File. You got a prima facie. You have a VAWA case filed. File an adjustment.
And finally, almost finally. I mean,
right.
It's
never final with you because this is your third final question.
Oh no, that's the last one.
Okay.
But listen, Brad. What's the matter with the advance parole? Can I submit advance parole too? I have a problem in my country. I have a problem in my country.
Go do advance parole too. You're entitled to travel. Don't stay out for more than 4 weeks.
Oh, 4 weeks. Oh, okay. Right. Okay, thank you, bro.
All right, good luck. You're in good shape.
Okay.
All right. Forget about my wife. That's not my question. Go to Jimmy in Brooklyn. Jimmy.
Hey, Brad. Good night. How you doing, man?
Good night. What's going on?
Oh yeah, I filed an I-360 from 2019. I have not heard nothing else with a lawyer.
You filed what in 2019?
I-360 because my wife went in and there was a strokes interview and she didn't go. So what happened is that I filed a lawyer and then she filed an I-360. That's it, with nothing else. And
well, you need to go back to what I just said to Jose, the last caller. File an I-45 so you can get your work permit. You can get your travel document. If you didn't get a prima facie, your lawyer didn't even submit the minimum requirements for you to get approved. So what I would suggest you do is you have a receipt notice for the VAWA, file an adjustment, and also, let's get a copy of your immigration records and see what this lawyer did.
All right. What can I do? Can I just take the case from him and just put it over to you?
Of course you
can.
You can take the case and bring it over to me. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Kevin in Long Island, or Kevin in Long Island.
Hello, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. So, Brad, I have 2 questions. So, I have a case pending with USCIS, and I don't know if it's a family member who they're texting me on a different number. They're threatening me, tell me that I filed for asylum, but I never filed for asylum, that they report me, that they're going to call ICE on me, and they're texting me from different numbers, but I never filed for asylum. So what should I do?
Block their numbers and don't worry about what other people threaten you about.
And I blocked them a million times.
I'm sorry?
I blocked them. They're doing this on different numbers.
Then get a new telephone number.
Okay. And also, how long do they take to respond to RFE?
Who filed for you?
VAWA.
It could take on an RFE. I don't know what was requested. Was it in the beginning of the case or the end of the case?
Well, I have a prima facie, then the request for RFE, and then I send the documents that after.
It could be 120 days. It could be a year. It could be longer. You never know. I don't know what they requested.
Okay, thank you.
But the point I'm trying to make is don't let people scare you.
Okay.
Okay. They can threaten you. They can scare you. They're doing it to get under your skin. The fact is, you have a VAWA case and you're waiting for it to get approved. And if you don't want to be bothered by them, and they bother you, block them or get a new telephone number. But they can't do anything to you. Don't worry. Nobody's coming for you.
Because I already went to the police, and the police said they can't do anything. I just have to change my number.
Change your telephone number. Nobody's coming for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate your help. Bye-bye.
Let's go to Mohammed in Arlington, Virginia. Mohammed.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I had my interview like a month and 2 weeks for asylum. How long should I give the USCIS to give me like a decision in my case?
Could be tomorrow, could be in a week, could be in a month, could be in 6 weeks or a month or two, something like that.
Yeah, like so if like it passed like three months, should I call them or just wait?
Wait, but you can call if you want. It won't do anything, but makes you feel better.
Sure. My second question, sir. I have a reckless driving. I was speeding. I would couldn't do a DUI or something like that. I was just speeding, and it showed it's reckless my record. Can this affect the decision in my case?
Not for asylum, but it could affect maybe getting a green card. But it's not going to affect the asylum.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Good luck. Let's go to Edmund in Long Island.
Yeah. Hello.
How are you?
Hey, Brad, I'm good. How are you doing today?
Good. What's going on?
I'm good. Listen, a quick one. I am a resident, me and my daughter, but my girlfriend is not a resident, but she's here with me.
Mm-hmm.
What should I do to get her?
What is her status right now?
She's been here for about 2 months from Jamaica.
Okay. So I assume she was given 6 months on a tourist visa, right?
About that, yeah, all right.
Okay. So on day 91 of her entry into America, you're gonna go get married to her.
Okay.
And then you're gonna file an adjustment immediately before she falls out of status.
Can we come check on it? Can we come check you?
Absolutely. Hold on. Let's go to Emmanuel in Midland, Texas.
How are you, Mr. Bra?
Good. How are you?
Good. I came to United States on a B1, B2 visa.
Mm-hmm.
So, and shortly after, I met a lady through the sister. Then we got married just after the my 6 months that was given to me expired.
Okay.
So, but after a few months, the relationship was, after the marriage was rocky. So I eventually filed for divorce, which was granted in December 2020.
Okay.
The marriage was in 2018.
Okay.
So, but someone was telling me that I can file for VAWA because I still have relationship with the mom, the sister, everything. So he was advising like if I can get a letter from the parents that it was because what they need, because during those process everybody know what was going on, but I never called police even when all her madness
if there was physical abuse or extreme emotional abuse on a regular habitual basis, the answer is yes. And if you have relatives, whether on her side or your side, who are willing to attest and corroborate what you're saying, it's worthwhile to look into. Absolutely. You have to file a VAWA case within 2 years of a divorce.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's your statute of limitations. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Althea in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Althea.
Brad, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm okay, Brad. Thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing. I learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
I didn't, I said being I filed my documents, right? And I basically do it myself with help from a
What documents?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do. What documents did you file?
So to adjust my status.
Okay.
I got my
Through marriage?
Yes,
Okay.
to an American citizen. I got my work permit within 3 weeks. I got my advance parole, everything within back to back.
Perfect.
But I didn't get anything for my daughter. And I went for the interview on the 16th of June. It's on review, and I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I don't know. It's just on review.
How old is your daughter?
She's 13.
And where is she?
She's here with me.
And what applications did you file for her?
The same application that I filed for myself.
You did it at I-45 and I-130.
Yes, everything. I got receipts.
You have receipts?
All the receipts.
Okay, I don't know what happened to it because I didn't do it. But if you did that, then that's the proper case to have filed. There's nothing to follow up on your daughter till you get your green card, though.
Okay, because when I went to the interview, the immigration officer asked me where is hers, and I told him that I didn't get one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so wait until you get your green card and then call me back.
Okay, Brad.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Hang
Have
in
a
there.
wonderful
Okay, thank
evening.
you. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to Omar in Fontana, California.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, Brad? So I have a quick question.
Sure.
I had a DUI back in 2015, so I landed in immigration removal proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I've gotten married, got a I-30 approved, I-31 approved, and I'm currently doing the 42B, which it's not a strong case. So I just found out that the court wants to they want to administratively close the case.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's going to affect my work permit.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
but guess what would affect your work permit more? Following through on the case and losing it and getting deported. So administrative closure is better.
Okay. Another quick question. Do you know if DACA, how likely DACA will accept me with an expunge? Because it's been expunged for, 3 years now?
I don't know. I would have to look at your conviction, and if you can qualify for DACA, that would be amazing. So hold on one second. Let's go to Doo in San Francisco.
Oh, hi, Mr. Brett. How are
you?
I'm good. I'm just calling for a friend because he doesn't speak much English. My friend got married in 2016 to his husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine and, fine. Went through the interview. It was quick and easy. I-751 came up. They didn't have an interview because he was bona fide, obviously. But now his husband, who didn't want to divorce, is threatening him to tell immigration, that he used him for a green card and blah, blah, blah. I told him, I don't believe nothing's going to happen, but I was like, let me call Brett and then...
Does he have he has his 10-year card now?
He has a 10-year card.
Okay. The husband can make all the allegations he wants. He has his 10-year card, end of story.
Oh, so it doesn't matter if
No.
you... Okay, because he was like...
Immigration's not going to look at it at this point. If the husband is so angry, just get a divorce and move on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they had trips abroad. They had everything together. Everything. And I was like, dude, it was legit.
As long as he has proof it was legit, immigration looked at it, it was legit. This is a distraught spouse who wants retribution because the marriage didn't work out. He's hurt and he has and he's emotional and he's lashing out, but that doesn't mean it's not a real marriage.
The only thing he did bad to his husband, and he admitted, was that he betrayed him. Like he was sleeping with a person, but for a week, and after that, he was like, "Well, this was effed up. Not gonna do it again."
You know what? People have an adulterous affair. I think we just read on Hump Day it was 40% of marriages, I think, in America, or maybe even more, have some sort of cheating involved in it. That doesn't mean it wasn't a real marriage.
Yeah, I actually told him, dude, I believe it's even more legit because
I think he's fine based on what you told me. I wouldn't worry.
Yeah, but he was worried because of citizenship. He was like, "What about when I apply for citizenship?"
When he applies for citizenship, he's going to do it based on 5 years of a green card. And if there's any question about the validity of the marriage, he'll bring in all his documentation. And they went on trips together, and they have all their documents together, and he'll tell a story that you just told me. And it is what it is.
Oh,
you fall in love.
so
you
you're
fall
saying
out
that
of love. It's fine.
sure. So it's really good until you become a citizen to keep all the documentations from the marriage, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I did that myself, and that's something that I told my friends to do. You know,
It's a very
because
smart thing
I
to
said,
do.
well,
Because
keep all the
they're
files,
going to
all the
question the
deals.
marriage again at the citizenship interview, but he has nothing to worry about. He did the legitimate marriage.
Okay, yeah, especially because it was same sex, and I don't know how, this administration, I believe they're much better at it.
I think it's
than
fine, and it's, you're in San Francisco, so you're in a very liberal city, so I would assume everything is fine.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Yeah, things are fine here. Well, Mr. Brad, I appreciate your time again. He will watch the show.
All right, thank you.
No,
Tell him to watch.
'cause-
All right, but he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Sure. Have a nice day,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Be well. All right, and by the way, if you didn't get a chance to get your immigration questions answered by me, you could always follow me on @RealBradBernstein. You follow me @RealBradBernstein. You can drop me a DM. I'll be happy to answer your question as best as I can. You can also follow us at Brad Show Live. Follow us at Brad Show Live. You don't like 2 hours, but you like 30 seconds. The best of Brad Show Live. You couldn't catch us for 2 hours. You want to see what was the best thing on last night's show? Follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And of course, if you didn't watch last night's show and you want to see what happened on Speed Round, did we blow ourselves up or not? Watch us on TikTok, our fastest growing social media platform, at Brad Show Live on TikTok. And Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias, what do you got?
Yep, you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you're also subbing in for Vanessa Nesquik Contreras.
Yes. No beard. You guys can follow me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
Perfect understudy role. All right, and where did I leave off here? And later in the show, we're going to speak with.
Took you off, huh?
Yes, it did throw me off a second. Later in the show, I will be speaking to Yemeni American stand-up comedian Ali Sultan about his immigration story and his career in comedy.
And now we're going to hear the #1 Change Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, actor, and DACA recipient Lord Africana would like to see in U.S. immigration reform. And as always, squad, you got to let us know what you would like to see changed in the comments as well, because I'll be looking.
What is the #1 change you want to see in U.S. immigration reform?
I would love to see more of an electronic system, because at the end of the day, immigration is a conversation of negotiation. Like there's gonna be some give and take. Like, and let's be realistic. Like with things like 9/11, like there are things that we have to worry about differently that we didn't have to worry about before. But I feel like at the same time there has to be some sort of humanity with the system. There has to be some form of like, all right, if this person is seeking asylum, like don't shut the door, but just document it. Like, you know what I mean? Like just like. Screw this backlog. Like, just do your work. Sign the paper, document it, put it in the system, get a fingerprint. So, like, when a person comes into the country illegally or whatever, you got a fingerprint to go by. You got an identification to go by. You know what I mean? So it's like, those are the things that I'm like, all right, there's ways that technology can help us, but at the same time, where I feel like we're so fear-driven that we don't want anything to do with it. Because, you know what I mean? It's like any type of system I feel like a starch conservative is like any form of amnesty to them is just, I don't know. I don't know why it's so fearful.
All right, let's do something we like to call social media check-in. Let's see what the squad has to say. Let's see what their issues, questions, problems, concerns are, Jonathan.
All right. John Adel, a Brad Squad VIP member. Is my application considered abandoned if I travel with a pending AP renewal, even if I have valid AP?
If you have a valid advance parole, you can travel it. You have not abandoned your adjustment. If you have no valid advance parole and just a pending application for a new advance parole, you have abandoned your adjustment. You will not be allowed back in America.
Don Hamilton, a Brad Squad VIP member. I have an interview in a few weeks based on a marriage petition, but we don't have the lease agreement. We live with family and contribute to all expenses as it relates to the house. Will that hurt our case?
No, you don't have a lease agreement doesn't mean you can't prove it's a real marriage and you live together and have a financial relationship.
Adepitan Janet Olowasesun, Brad Squad VIP member. I called my lawyer to ask if he had sent my RFE, request for further evidence, but he said he sees that it's still pending. What does that mean? Have they received it or not?
It means they've received it and the case is pending and they're looking at it. That's what I would assume.
Russian Scott, Brad Squad VIP member. If I'm a citizen here in the U.S., how often can I leave the country?
Whenever you'd like.
Ron Adams, Brad Squad VIP member. My cousin didn't report to his probation officer and he left the country. Can he come back as a tourist since he abandoned his residency?
No, there's probably a warrant out for his arrest too.
Yeah, Joan Erica on Facebook. Can someone attend the interview for a green card if the biometrics have not been completed? What if the biometrics are completed, but the results are not ready by the date of the interview?
You get an interview, you go, no matter biometrics or no biometrics.
Armand Dave Brignac Brute Gold on Instagram. Can I get my visa back after overstaying in America due to an illness? Can I get adjusted to a business visa?
Well, you have an excuse why you overstayed. You would have to show medical records, a hospital record that you were incapacitated and couldn't leave. Being sick in bed with a cold is different than being incapacitated in a hospital. So it depends what the sickness was.
Lakeisha Libran Headley on Facebook. If I get married to a U.S. citizen and I have one child, 11 years old, how much money do I need to pay to get his adjustment of status approved through my marriage? Does it help our case if I'm a lawful permanent resident?
It's $1,200. It's $1,225 plus $535, which is $1,760. You only get a reduced fee for your child if you're doing the adjustment together with you. But since you already got your green card, you're doing a separate adjustment. It's not going together in one package. Your child has to pay the full fare.
Samantha Jones on Facebook. What is the penalty for someone who tried to file for citizenship, got caught undocumented, and was deported? It's been 10 years now. What can he do? How can he come back?
Filed for citizenship and got caught?
The penalty is someone who tried to file for citizenship and got undocumented and was deported.
Well, you were undocumented, made a false claim to U.S. citizenship, and got deported. You're never coming back again in the history of the world.
Modesta Batson on YouTube. How do I know if I aged out of the application my grandmother made for my dad and family in April 2007? I'm F3 and I was born August 28, 1991. The I-130 filed for us was completed April 26, 2007, was approved on October 1st, 2007. Did I age out? What's my status?
Yeah, you probably aged out because you only got a few months over your 21st birthday because I got approved fast.
Linda Shaw on Facebook. My 120 days finishes next week. What will happen next? It's been about a year and 6 months, and I've been waiting for a date for the embassy.
120 days for what?
What happens in 120 days that finishes? What do you need for 120 days?
I don't know what she's asking me. Okay.
Rosemarie Barnes on YouTube. Is there a visa I can apply for if I work in the health field?
Yeah, if you're a registered nurse or a physical therapist, that's the easiest, fastest way to do it.
Relaxing Sounds of Nature on YouTube. Can CBP check my work history at a checkpoint? I'm skeptical of going home because of my work history. Will they know?
Well, if you have an issue with work history, I think you should speak to a lawyer first before you do anything.
Abdullah1617 on YouTube. How can a Syrian entrepreneur establish a business in the U.S. and get a business visa?
Start a corporation, open up a bank account, transfer money, and then either do probably an L visa. I don't think Syria has an E-visa treaty with the United States.
Temi Akinwunmi on YouTube. In 2016, I got a DWI. It's been over 5 years now, and I'm going for my naturalization. Will that affect it?
Yes, you have to prove 5 years of good moral character.
God's Got Me on YouTube. Can a green card holder file for his 8-year-old that is currently out of status in the U.S. and doesn't live with him? He's with the mother and they're divorced and co-parenting.
Absolutely.
Mike Frew on YouTube. My 19-year-old son is eligible to file for a green card as an asylee derivative with over 1 year stay in the U.S. Is it faster if I file for him as a citizen father, or should he file asylee?
U.S. citizen father.
Say What on YouTube. I got in trouble about 7 years ago and was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Say what?
But it was dismissed.
Is that say what?
It is say what?
That's why I'm like, say what?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just making sure you're paying attention.
Yes. Say what?
Say what?
On YouTube. So I got in trouble about 7 years ago and was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It was dismissed. Will I have any problems renewing my green card?
Not if it was dismissed.
Golden Gate on YouTube. Has the Haitian TPS application period opened yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Nisista G on YouTube. I overstayed my ESTA and married a U.S. citizen in 2019. Our first child is 8. USCIS reviewed or received our case on October 8th, 2020. I'm still waiting for my biometrics appointment. Can I expect a full permanent green card?
If you're married for more than 2 years, yes. How long have they been married?
Does not say.
Married to a citizen
well, this
or
says
resident?
their first child is 8, so.
I assume if you're married more than 2 years,
Married
you're
a U.S. Oh no, they married in 2019.
If you're married more than 2 years, by the time you get your green card, your 10-year green card, you're done.
All right.
All right. So Yemeni American comedian Ali Sultan's career has included appearing on Kevin Hart's Comedy Central show, Heart of the City, and recording his own Comedy Central special in Dubai. I spoke with Ali about his career in stand-up, his experience migrating to America as a teenager, and his thoughts on the American dream. Let's watch.
Stand-up comedian Ali Sultan has appeared on Kevin Hart's Comedy Central show, Heart of the City, and has recorded his own Comedy Central special in Dubai. The Yemeni American comic joins me to discuss his journey to America and his path to a career in comedy. Welcome, Ali. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So let's watch a clip from one of your sets.
I'm an immigrant. I moved here when I was 15. I had to take ESL classes. And one day my instructor got off tangent and just started talking about the Middle East and 9/11. And then she looked at me, the only Arab kid in the class, and she said, "They hate us because they're jealous of our freedom." And she kept staring and staring and staring. And that made me uncomfortable. And when I'm uncomfortable, I laugh audibly. So I laughed, but I laughed way too hard. It didn't look like it was out of discomfort. It looked like I was plotting against the United States of America. She said, "They hate us because they're jealous of our freedom." And I was like, ha, ha, ha!
Tell me a little bit about your immigration story.
I was born in Sana'a, Yemen. Lived there the first 9 or 10 years of my life. Then my mother began immigrating to America, and then I was put with my aunt who lived in Ethiopia until her immigration process allowed her to apply for us.
So when did you join your mom in America?
I came here 14, turning 15. I just came here right.
So what was it like coming from Yemen to Africa, not speaking English, I assume?
No.
And all of a sudden showing up in America. Was it what you expected?
You would learn about America from movies. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like when I watch movies and stuff, all I saw is like New York City, like Las Vegas. You're kind of shocked at first because it doesn't look like the movies.
Was that the first time in your life that you felt safe when you came to America?
I felt more stable. And I also felt excited to digging into the opportunities of what it means to be in America. And I knew like this is the land where everything can be possible. So I came in excited as well.
Were you always a funny guy? Were you funny as a kid in Yemen and Ethiopia?
Less funny in Ethiopia because when your mom abandons you, you tend to be quiet.
A lot of comedians use comedy to cover up their pain and their anxiety and their stress.
I mean, it is a defense mechanism. I think I was funny from a very young age. I remember being like 3 years old and watching Mr. Bean. I would do an impression to my family and they thought it was like a spot on impression and they laughed a lot. And I remember like, oh, I could get everybody's attention and create joy out of humor.
Are there comedians in Yemen?
You could be like a comedy actor. You could be like a TV host or whatever. But there are options to be funny. When I started stand-up, I was the only comedian that I can find. I typed in Yemeni stand-up comedian. Eddie Izzard showed up. He's a comedian from Britain. Big deal. It was ironic to me because apparently he was born in Aden, Yemen, because his father might have been like an ambassador or whatever. Uh-huh. It's like there's no Yemeni comedian. The only thing that showed up is a British guy.
Well, do you remember the stand-up act you saw? The
I
comedian
do.
you saw and you say, I can do that, or I want to do that.
I'll watch Conan every night. And then one day he had a stand-up comedian on, and it was Jim Gaffigan. And I remember thinking, oh, that feels like a kindred spirit. Like I feel like that guy. That was the first time I saw stand-up, and I loved it. I was like, whatever that is that's how I feel inside. And funny enough, I did meet Gaffigan, I think, a year and a half ago, or maybe a year ago. And I told him that story, and I was like, hey, man, you're the reason I'm a stand-up comedian. And he said, I'm sorry about that.
You watch Conan. You're in high school. You're learning English.
Yep.
You're not even fluent in English yet. And you say to your Yemeni mother, who sacrificed and immigrated to America to make a better life for her children, I'm going to go be a stand-up comic.
At that point, that would have been insane for me to say that. I had the etiquettes to wait till I was 22.
And what did she say when you told her? Did she understand what you wanted to do? Was she encouraging it?
She said, you can have your hobbies. Just make sure, you go to school and get a degree and all that stuff. And then she saw me live one day. She was like surprised. She was like, oh, I don't really, you're actually good at this. She said, you're a beast. She said these words, which is funny because she heard the host say that.
Right.
So she repeated the word you're.
That's funny. Growing up in Yemen, moving to Ethiopia, separated from a family, eventually coming here as a teenager, not knowing any English, trying to fit in.
Trying to beat the winter of Minnesota. That's probably the hardest part of my life was the winter.
Yeah, I mean, coming from Africa and a desert in Yemen and then going to the, icicles of Minnesota, I guess that's got to be tough too.
Unbelievable. I'm still getting used to it.
How did all of that influence your comedy?
You ever travel somewhere overseas and then you kind of see everything that's kind of wrong with the place? I can point out what's odd easier because I didn't come from here.
Now, you won a local contest in Minneapolis, and you ended up making your TV debut on Kevin Hart's show, Heart of the City. What was it like working with Kevin Hart, getting on television in America?
It was a dream come true. I remember I used to watch the same show that I got on and thinking, I would love to be on that show. Then one day I went to a place called the House of Comedy. I did a set there, and the GM at the time said, hey, Ali, Kevin Hart is going to have auditions for Heart of the City. They had 3 different nights of auditions. We did 5-minute auditions, and then I didn't hear back until like 3 months later. I get a call from one of the producers and actually the creator of the show, Joey Wills. And then Joey said, you're on the show.
Tell me about your character, Joe Freedom.
Joe Freedom, it kind of spiraled. His influence kind of like the 2016 election, Trump, which, by the way, I liked him as a TV guy.
So what is this Joe Freedom? What do you do?
Joe Freedom, I guess, when that happened, like all the rhetoric that came from the Trump campaign, like the anti-Mexican, anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim thing was just, it was getting a little too much. And I was trying to find a way to just find humor within it. Then I thought of a character who's basically Trump, but he's in a brown body. And his name is Joe Freedom. And he's an illegal immigrant who's so scared about being deported that he decided to try to fit in. So he's so he hides in plain sight. So that's Joe Freedom.
Let's watch a clip.
And if I am elected, I will deport every terrorist in the city, starting with that one. Freedom power. Freedom power. Cops are okay. Cops are okay. I will change everything. Back to the good old days.
It's funny you say that, Joe Freedom's trying to fit in, because we talk about that on my show a lot, because we say, why would an immigrant support Trump? What's the psychology behind it? Because he's really not for a group of people who are supporting him.
I can understand people voting for Trump the first round, which is basically like, she seems like what we've used to, and I don't trust that. This guy seems new. Is he serious about what he's saying? To vote again, to me, that's unbelievable. If you're on the second, I would vote for a pillow. Literally, if it was like a pillow versus Trump, I'll go with the pillow. We saw what happens when you put an insecure little man in office.
You are in Minneapolis, ground zero of protests. That's where it happened, George Floyd. Do you feel positive to come out of all of this?
It's always positive, stained with some negativity. Great thing is people realizing their power. We can go on the streets and demand justice, and the people have to listen. The government has to listen. It feels like there's another force at play who wants to dismiss these things or make it feel dangerous so it doesn't happen.
So you were involved with the George Floyd protests as well. Tell us about what your involvement was with that.
I've never really protested before.
This was your first protest ever?
Yeah. I went big, you know.
What did you do as part of the protest?
You know, the thing is about protest is if you've never been, you really don't know what the, etiquettes are. So I just showed up and then I found opportunities to help them there. I was like, I see there's a lot of good and beautiful moments that are happening during the protest. There's a lot of peace and love that no one is capturing, and all I see on the news is about riots. So I thought there's an unfair coverage. But then when I saw that, then I was like, an opportunity to help is to take photographs and showcase all the positive things that I see. So I started going to all the protests and taking pictures of the protests and posting it. And then a lot of people were like, I don't see this in the news. I only saw the riots and whatnot. And when people just cover riots, it's a way to dismiss protests. And it's a really dangerous thing for, when you're trying to have your voice heard about a serious matter.
And you also, besides that, you were involved in feeding the community during the protest?
So that came also from being at a protest. I was at a protest and I saw a friend of mine who is a comedian. Her name is Shea Webby. And Shea Webby is an African American resident of St. Paul. And she was there with a table giving up food for the community. And then I thought that's a great idea. When the looting started, a lot of the stores closed. I was like, there's definitely a need. People are not getting the groceries. A lot of people don't have means to drive. And a lot of people don't even have money with the pandemic and all that stuff. So I thought that's a good opportunity to help. So I went on my social media and I asked people to donate money so I can do runs for Shay. And then a lot of people donated. I ended up with $2,000. It started with 3 tables, and then we ended up with 3 giant containers, and we fed around 7,000 to 8,000 people. So
wow.
That was what gave me hope about riots and all the things that are happening, is people really just, when people are given the opportunity to do good, they will do good. They want to help.
You've also traveled to Dubai to work on a special with Comedy Central. How is that different performing stand-up in the Middle East rather than in America?
Great question. Well, comedy is not just about language. You don't just have to know English to understand comedy. There's context, there's pop culture things, references and whatnot. So I thought it was definitely harder because I was talking to an audience of 1,000 people, but not all of them spoke English and not all of them kind of got our culture here.
You play another character, an Arab prince who's trying out comedy. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was I was in Dubai, and then I kind of got tired of being told what I can't say. They're like, don't talk about Yemen, the war in Yemen, which is, kind of awful because I'm from Yemen and Dubai has a hand in the war there. On the plane, I was thinking about a character to make fun of my idea of what a prince is.
Let's watch a little bit about the Arab prince.
It smells like middle class in here. Disgusting. This one especially, this one.
What else have you been working on during the pandemic?
I've been shooting my own sketches, and I started a new podcast, a video and audio podcast called Does This Age Well? And I'm also doing some writing. I started a book that I'm going to be working on based on the first comedy album that I had called Happy to Be Here. Zoom Legend is one of my sketches that I've done. A lot of us had to do Zoom shows during the stay-at-home orders, and it wasn't the best. And I thought it'd be funny to do a serious documentary on a Zoom comedian called Zoom Legend. And it's kind of like a Michael Jordan documentary where everybody is bigging up this guy who was a legend during the Zoom era. So that's
Let's watch a clip and see.
His comedy shows and open mic nights are reaching new audiences thanks to technology. Here's Maury Glover. Give it up!
I don't think they understand the level of contribution that I made. We're talking about the computer mic drop, that was me. The lag effect, that was me. Longest running Zoom show, that was me. 36 hours. 14 minutes of material. It's never been done before.
Yo, dude, come on. Are you sleeping, bro? Come on, man, we're only 36 hours deep. What are you doing, dude? Wake up, dude. I need you attentive. I need you with me. This is art. Did you turn off the video? Hey, man, disrespectful. By the way, I have your IP address. I want you to know that.
And finally, the show's about reaching your American dream. Tell me about what your American dreams are.
I would love the two Americas to combine and become one America, to be fair all across the board. That would be my American dream for America. I would love to see that, because it's so hard to feel good about, like, I personally am fine, right? I come from a different country, so I know my possibilities, I have my ambitions. I was taught to see outside of that one dark world. I know what exists, so I can go and seek it. Day to day, I'm happy, I'm okay. You know, I got a nice place, I have a car, I have things that I don't have if I lived in Yemen. And I have dreams that I can achieve. I can be a stand-up comedian. I would wish for America to just be like, you know, as great as it is for everybody. That way I can have a good time.
Ali Sultan, thank you very much for coming on. Good luck in your career.
Thank you.
Very funny guy. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
All right. What do we have? Speed round. I forgot where we're at on our show. By the way, before we go to before we go to speed round, I do have to say that Yemeni American comedian Ali Sultan's career has included appearing on Kevin Hart's Comedy Central show, but now he just made his debut doing stand-up on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on June 29th. The show's first stand-up comedy set in over 15 months. So congratulations to Ali.
Huge.
And so between Ali being on Stephen Colbert and Brian of
Pharaoh being on
Gangstagrass, we are thrilled to see them continuing to succeed in their work.
Absolutely. Got some stars.
All right, now we're ready for speed round.
It's doing great.
Yes. All right, let's do it.
How long does it take to reschedule?
Wait.
Okay, you said let's do it.
Well, I said let's do it. I didn't say start. Okay, now we can go.
How long does it take to reschedule biometrics for I-751?
You can go on any Wednesday.
Can a green card holder file for his undocumented spouse?
Yes.
Can an undocumented person apply for E2?
I don't know what E2 visa. It depends what the visa is.
Can non-citizens get Section 8?
No.
Can I apply for 765 out of state with approved VAWA?
Yes.
Can I petition for my aunt who's my legal guardian?
No.
Do I need to file an affidavit of support for DV visa?
Yes.
Can a citizen file for his daughters under 18?
Yes, of course.
Do I need to submit driver's license when filing for naturalization?
No, you don't.
Can I file for AOS with expedition?
Expedite?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So just in case, because you said you didn't know the E2.
I didn't know what the E2 one was.
It's all good. I did it.
Yeah, because E2 could be in employment-based second category, but it could also be an E2 immigrant investor. Those are two different things. So I wasn't
E2
sure.
E2 visa business plan.
So that would be an E2 then.
E2
yeah, investor
for
visa.
entrepreneurs.
Yes, if you're out of status, maybe you can go home, but you may have a 3 and 10 year bar. You would have to go home and come back.
Well, we did 11.
We could do
or
12.
10.
I could do
We did
12.
10.
I could do 12. I delayed one because I'm like, oh, we have so much time.
Right.
I gave it some thought.
But I gave you an extra one to make sure that nobody could say anything.
You know what this goes to show? You're the man.
Oh my goodness.
You are the man.
Come on, man. Thank you.
You are the man.
You're the immigration king, and I'm the man when it comes to speed
Yes.
rounds.
All right, comments of the day. At least you're the man today. You blow me up tomorrow.
I don't think I ever blow you up when it's just me. I'm just gonna say. All right. Our first comment of the day comes from Tanisha Brown saying, although I'm stuck at the George Washington Bridge, I still have to tune into my favorite show.
All
Please
right.
be safe out there.
Thank you.
Yes, it's
All
crazy out there. Second comment of the day, Rajesh Kumar Rajesh saying, hey Brad, Good morning. I am watching from India.
Wow. Stay safe there. I heard
Yes.
it's not going well there with COVID, but maybe doing a little better now.
Hopefully. And our last comment of the day. Getaway Cat saying, come on guys, give this live show a thumbs up. A lot of you are learning through these free braducations. Show some love, y'all.
I like Getaway Cat. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cat too.
All right, by the way, if you're not subscribed or you don't follow and like us on Facebook, you will have no idea when we will be live tomorrow, because tomorrow's pop-up Friday. We pop up in the summer on Fridays, sometime in the late morning, sometimes in the late afternoon.
But all the time, have a blast.
That's right.
We do
So
have
you
fun.
need to subscribe and like and follow us in order to be notified. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?